Tonight, Dr. Stephen King gives full support to the NYC in calling on party promoters to limit alcohol promotion. He wants a full-out ban. With the new minimum wage commission to be set up, the former deputy chairman of the old commission questions the need for going back to the drawing board. And how should society deal with delinquent daddies? That and more coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good evening. It is Wednesday, the 21st of August, 2019. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We're on Flow, Channel 117, also being simulcast on Kiss FM 105.5 and 105.9. We're live on Facebook at Caribbean Hot 7 TV, on our website www.caribbeanhottv.com, and on our free Caribbean Hot FM mobile app. I'm Lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. What the world saw on social media with regards to young people passing out after excessive drinking is a symptom of a larger societal problem. So says Dr. Stephen King. Dr. King has come out in full support of the National Youth Council, which called for event organizers to place less emphasis on the sale and promotion of alcohol. Dr. King has gone a step further to call on government to ban advertising and promotion of alcohol, like in the case of cigarettes. Dr. Stephen King has devoted much of his life to youth development, whether it be through his work as co-director of Rise St. Lucia Inc. or now spearheading the Safe Spaces initiative. But as a collective, he says society has failed the youth, and that failure was displayed for the world to see on social media, as seemingly comatose youth were pictured all across VG Beach after drinking excessively in an event called Live in Color.
I support the National Youth Council as they have come out against what has happened. I also believe that yes, it is important that event organizers who are adults should take more responsibility to make sure that their events are safe, and that includes minimizing alcohol use. I, for one, also do not believe in alcohol advertising and alcohol promotion. I think the government has a responsibility to abolish advertising of alcohol and the promotion of alcohol.
Dr. King says the facts are clear on alcohol.
Alcohol is the worst drug in terms of public health impact in St. Lucia. Way too much alcohol is promoted and way too much alcohol is consumed, especially by our youth, but by all. In fact, look at drunken driving and the deaths on the road and the morbidity, as we call it, the people who are hurt on that road from alcohol.
He says it is time that society gets serious about properly nurturing youth. He urges all to take both personal and collective responsibility for the destructive behaviors like what was displayed after the recent fete.
I don't blame the youth. I cannot blame the youth. I blame the society. I blame us adults for not creating that right environment. That is why I personally have made a personal commitment to Safe Spaces. It is my last time, my last opportunity as an older person to try and make a difference, to create a better environment for our youth to grow. So our youth can be the strong type of youth who do not participate in using substances like alcohol, don't participate in violence, don't participate in irresponsible sexual activity, and in fact are on a path to success, being strong St. Lucians, building a strong St. Lucia. That is what we're supposed to be doing. And that is what we saw there on the weekend is just an example of how our society, we've allowed our society to degenerate.
Dr. King's Safe Spaces initiative is a direct response to social ills to encourage communities to establish safe spaces for children to learn, play, and grow. Now, we've heard the opinion of the NYC and Dr. King about placing responsibility on event organizers not to heavily market alcohol to young people. On the other hand, some argue that the responsibility to police the choices of youth who are of a legal age to drink is asking too much of party promoters. Let's hear what you have to say on this issue.
Tout simplement ici, moi je veux parler à ces événements là qui a fait avec ces jeunes mamans là. Number one, la pani pour ni pièce alcool. Et qu'on ni pour double de qualité show ça. Promote mais show by ces mamans là. Non ni bon talented mamans cette ici qui a chanté. Fè bagay kon sa bay se mamay la. Pa menen se kalte bagay. Mwen pase ek mwen mamay a terre, mamay kasen, comme accident. Qui ça ka menen bay se pays se mamay la? Qui ça nous ka mouche se mamay la? Nous ni pour guide se mamay la. Menen me bagay bay se mamay la. Pa menen se mamay la descend comme ça. Menen yo mouté, fait yo service talent yo. Las menen se kalte bagay sa set lisi. Ça pa ka menen se jeune mamay nou en pièce côté. Ek nous sav yo soif, yo faim, yo tout bagay, yo any bagay yo kaya entrer en dedans. So zot ki wons ko sab pour se promotion se bagay sa la. Fait better event bay se mamay la. Se bagay sa talented, yo sa danser, yo sa chanter, fait bagay ki kay menen yo mouti. Pa bagay ki kay menen yo descend. Elevate yo.
Number one, the parents have to be blamed, because if you have your teenagers living at your home and then they go out to an event like that and you see them all over Facebook, they're drunk up and things like that, the parents are supposed to be blamed, because you're supposed to control the child, ask the child question, where you going, why are you sponsoring the child $100 to buy a ticket to come to an event like that, and then these things are happening. So you cannot blame, ask the police for help and or for security to watch your own child. You're supposed to watch your own child. Ask your child question, where you going? I mean, if the child is 14 years, 14 years, 15 years, 16 years going, and then you're sending them to an event like that, and then when you're looking on the news, you see your child well drunk and things. When they get drunk, they're doing anything. So the parents have to be blamed.
One thing I could say, you have to drink responsible. And I remember when we raised before, when I was young boy, I could come in the shop, and when some certain people selling, they say need patois. You drunk already, I'm not selling to you anymore. But now I don't know why. If you see somebody drunk and you're still selling them alcohol. And I believe that's supposed to have a law for that too, because as I tell you, a long time people was taking it easy. They always used to have grown-up selling, but now all young children or young people, that's why they will have to start implementing that license again, because you must have license to sell liquor. And especially when you go to court or when you give you a license, you're supposed to know what to do. If the person drunk, so you're supposed to know how to deal with the person. But now it seems anybody selling anywhere, anyhow, and anything happening. But that's now custom have to lift up the eyebrow and start doing their work.
In St. Lucia, they should ban drinking in public, ban underage drinking, and if there is a law saying people should not be drinking at 17, 16, they should enforce that law. There is too much out of hand going in Bloco-Ramas and all these kind of things in St. Lucia. Ban all drinking in public, ban underage drinking. That's what I'm supporting. I want that to happen already in St. Lucia.
To me, I wouldn't say to stop the event. To me, they would motivate it better with the children, providing the limit of during the drinking. Because the way they carry themselves, to me, it's not right. Because the young children have no moral to themselves, and they don't have no respect for themselves. And they don't have respect to their parents either, because if your parents trust you to send you to the event, you should respect yourself.
Well, I'll tell you what I think, what my position is. My position is a simple one, You know what what we should start doing in St. Lucia? We should start enforcing the laws. The laws in St. Lucia that have been sleeping in the books for any amount of years right now. Until and unless these laws are enforced, my friend, okay? I think the answer to your question is no. No, there should be no policing. Allow the young people to free up themselves and do as they please. Okay? Fair enough? Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, I think they should, because you see what happened. I have a problem with young people drinking alcohol. Because, they drink without a limit. And, the reason why I say they have to be policing, because you see what happened. When them youngsters drink, especially when you see you drink and you have no control, they do things out of the way. Like I saw on the news, weekend news there. I saw it was so disgusting, man. Like so many young people behaving so disorderly under the influence of alcohol. Yes, man, I suppose they should do that, because they should control them. Yeah, man, because as I said it, and I'll say it again, too many young people drinking. Some of them drink without a cause. Some of them drink during the problems, and that cannot solve it. So I believe they should have the control over them. Even those that are drinking in the bar and them kind of things. When police see them already have, and even the bartenders, when they see they have enough, they shouldn't sell for them, and they should put a law to stop them from selling for people that are already intoxicated.
I think police should be around to check, especially the teenagers, for IDs and so on, to know if they, they should be around there and finding themselves in these kind of events and so on. So they could limit these things from happening again, Yeah, I think it's something the police should really be looking for, where the young people is involved, especially young people, Yeah, so that's my take on that.
I want to share some views on this Live in Color thing and all these activities they have in Live in Color, Color Me Red, Name It Carnival, and all other events. I strongly believe they shouldn't have any alcohol, absolutely none whatsoever. No alcohol involved in these events. Right? So therefore, they wouldn't be having any stabbings, any accidents, unnecessary accidents and fights and deaths and so on. The best thing is no alcohol, period. Right? And everybody will be safe.
Those were your views. Former Deputy Chairman of the Minimum Wage Commission, Joseph Alexander, is not buying into the hype that the process to establish a minimum wage has to go back to the drawing board to be done on a sector-by-sector basis. He says a baseline could be established and then fine-tuned as opposed to starting the process all over. He calls on government to, quote, buck up on this matter. 9 years ago, the Minimum Wage Commission recommended that the minimum wage be established at $750 a month. Former Deputy Chairman of the Minimum Wage Commission and current Executive Director of the Employers Federation, Joseph Alexander, says add inflation to that previous recommendation and the government could very well have a starting point or a baseline for a minimum wage.
So the minimum wage really should be at least $900 minimum, and we're talking about at the basic level, right? I do support the government on the minimum wage per sector. Don't think I don't. But that could come afterwards, right? So now you say nobody can earn less than 900, but certain sectors should earn more.
Alexander says he listened with horror to a retail employer speak about paying a worker $350 a fortnight or $700 a month. He says government cannot allow such things to continue.
In this day and age, a minimum wage has to be better than that. By the time you pay transportation to come to work and buy yourself even the minimum of meals, if you buy a minimum meal of $7 a day, you're looking at, and these people work 6 days a week, so you're looking at 42, that's almost $200 already. That has gone in just a meal during the lunch hour. And then when you add transportation to that, even if you put $5 a day, all right, so you're looking at another 6 5s are 30, another 120. So already more than half the salary has already gone into just transportation and a meal. So the government, I think, needs to buck up, definitely do something to bring the minimum wage up to a reasonable level.
When the Minimum Wage Commission was constituted in 2009, it generated a report in 2010. The recommendations were not implemented, and in fact, now the Minister for Labour, Stephenson King, has indicated that a new Minimum Wage Commission will be established.
I listened to the Minister of Labour, who, by the way, was the Prime Minister in 2010, and he was saying the reason why it was not implemented was simply because the government wanted a sectoral minimum wage, meaning that each sector would have its own minimum. We, at the time, we were not told that is what the government wanted, and personally, I don't think that should prevent us from instituting a base minimum wage. You could always, because a minimum wage is a minimum wage, and nobody should be getting below a certain amount of money in St. Lucia.
The last minimum wage in St. Lucia was set in 2006, but only for construction workers at a rate of no less than $50 a day. Labour Minister King says with each sector posing its own unique challenges and benefits, it is crucial that the new commission takes into account all the variables before establishing a dynamic minimum wage structure. The law of St. Lucia makes provision for the sum of $125 to $200 to be paid on a monthly basis in child support. If the person without custody of the child is unable to pay the monthly sum, a magistrate can permit police to arrest the delinquent party and haul them to Bordelais Correctional Facility. Suffering this unfortunate fate are many fathers in St. Lucia. Minister for Social Transformation Leonard Montoute says he is not in agreement with this method of child maintenance and says his ministry will look to enact policy to end this vicious cycle. Solange Alfred reports.
The penalty as it stands for fathers who are unable to pay child support fees is imprisonment until the sum is paid or up to 3 months in the Bordelais Correctional Facility. The question is, how can someone who shows an inability to provide for their child now do so from behind bars or with a sullied police record? Minister for Social Transformation Leonard Spider Montoute says the vicious cycle of incarceration of delinquent fathers as it relates to child maintenance needs to stop.
We are definitely looking at many of the legislations that pertain to social services, and that is no exception. And so we will be reviewing the Child Maintenance Act. Of course, it has not been reviewed for a while. And I have my own opinion, and you asked for my opinion. I think there is a lot to be done, not only in terms of the quantum, but also some of the policies that exist. I, for one, do not believe that the right thing or the best answer is to imprison a father who is unemployed and unable to take care of his children. But instead, but instead for us as a government to put programs in place so that we, I won't say force, but guide the fathers into those programs, and as a government, as a ministry, that we deduct the finance that is needed to take care of the children rather than imprison the fathers, which does not help the cause of the children.
Montoute says the road ahead to modify legislation governing child maintenance may be a demanding one, but one he identifies as extremely necessary.
I know it is an arduous, long, tedious process, and of course it is not all entirely up to me. I know the Attorney General's office have their hands full, but I will certainly be pushing to try to get this legislative amendment done during this term of my tenure.
As it stands, each father is required to maintain his child or children with or without a maintenance order. In the case of enactment of an order, the order ends when the child is 18, but this may be varied by the court before then. An application for maintenance of a child is typically made by the mother, but may be made by whomever has custody of the child in question. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. When we come back, the iron fist of the mayor of Castries is cracking down on the issue of parking along Hospital Road. The former president of the National Consumers Association calls on you to watch your dollar. And Oktoberfest Aqueon 2019 is launched. That and more when we return.